Hello everyone, Waldos is here for another Maker Machinations video for your daily dose of death traps. Today we'll be talking about how to farm in-game currencies, namely cells, parts and synthite. As always, please do make sure to like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as I am still relatively new to YouTube and it does really help me out. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who's been supporting me over these first few videos. I didn't expect the channel to grow this rapidly, and I definitely didn't expect to have almost 18,000 views across my first 3 videos in just a few days. So I can't thank you all enough for your support and all the positive comments. It really means a lot to me, and I can't wait to bring you more content from Meet Your Maker, as well as some other games which will be coming in video releases soon. And if you've got any games that you'd like to see, please make sure to let me know in the comments. And thank you all so much. But for now, let's get started on with the video and get started by making some sweet cells. Cells are the red currency that you can see in the top left of your screen whilst in Sanctuary. These are used for pretty much any unlock, upgrade, hardware crafting, and most boosts, and as such are the most important currency in the game to gather. Luckily, however, it's also by far the easiest and will gather passively whilst trying to gather the other currencies. But here are some quick tips to building it up that little bit faster. So number 1 is to increase your tribute level. There are 3 levels within the game that you find in Sanctuary: Chimera level, Custodian level, and Tribute level. And leveling up any of these will give you a bundle of cells. The Chimera and Tribute levels are both based on the acquisition of a certain amount of Genmat, either by extracting it from your outposts or by successfully raiding other outposts. The Tribute level is essentially your weekly level, and this increases to a maximum of level 7, at which point it gives 75 cells at each repeated level up. This will happen passively as you play the game, however you can activate the Hardware Advisor's boost to increase the amount of Genmat that you receive for a set duration, which will speed up this process. Tip number 2 is to process your advisors. A Chimera level up gives a large chunk of all 3 currencies, but as cells are directly linked to levels, this becomes much more important if you're gathering up that shiny red currency. As such, if you're short on cells, pay close attention to these icons at the top of the screen. When you select an outpost to raid, a grey bar will go around the outside of these icons, showing you where the Genmat will place you against the level of your advisor. Unless you're specifically looking to grind up the duration of a specific boost, such as traps or hardware, it's advised to aim to fill these up relatively evenly. Champion outposts also give experience to all advisors, meaning sometimes the fastest way of gathering cells is to run a mix of outposts and then top everybody up to full with a champion outpost. Once you have processed a set amount of advisors, your Chimera level will increase and you'll get a nice beefy batch of all 3 currencies. Tip number 3 is to make sure that you're doing your champion outposts when they become available. Champion outposts are your biggest source of fast experience, as like mentioned previously, they level all of your advisors at the same time, and give quite a lot of Genmat, making them ideal for raising that Chimera or Tribute level. Personally, I like to run Dangerous as my general raid difficulty, as the Genmat gain is roughly double normal difficulty, and they're a lot quicker to run than Brutal outposts. However, I tend to run Brutal outposts for my champion raids, as they give a large boost of experience to all of my advisors. This 2 Dangerous, 1 Brutal champion rotation seems to be pretty efficient in gathering a lot of Genmat in a shorter time. Okay, so that's it for cells. Let's move on to parts and synthite. So parts of the currency you're most likely to have an excess of if you're focused on the building, but will rapidly run out of as a raider. Parts are often used for weapon unlocks, hardware crafting, boosts, and suit upgrades, which makes raiders heavily reliant on it to keep on top of their equipment. In opposition to this is synthite. This is the currency you'll likely have an excess of if you're a raider, but normally be short on as a builder, because it's primarily used to buy burial sites, unlock trap and guards, and activate certain boosts. Both of these currencies are gathered in very much the same way, so I'll put them together here as the tips will be valid for both of them. Tip number 1 is to destroy everything. Parts and synthite drop like cube-shaped candy from destroyed traps and dead guards. These drops are either blue or orange boxes of various sizes, giving these precious resources in units of 5, 10 and 20. As such, if you're struggling for either of these resources, speedrunning bases is generally your enemy, as you want to ensure that you're destroying everything in your path to maximise the amount of resources that you gain per run. Tip number 2 is Forgotten Vaults. A part of the game that isn't overly well explained is the Forgotten Tombs or Vaults. These are actually your biggest source of synthite and parts within raids themselves. As you're travelling around an outpost, listen for this sound. This indicates that a Forgotten Vault is nearby, and with a bit of searching you should hopefully find a tile that looks like this one. Now, some builders have taken to blocking these off, which unfortunately is going to mean that you won't be able to get these resources on every outpost you come to. But it's generally considered good manners to leave these open, as raiders will get free resources from them and they don't negatively impact you as a builder. However, you're more than welcome to trap them as long as it doesn't force people to lose the resources, such as having them fall into a lava cube. Destroying these tombs will shower you with resource cubes. Now, every map can have a varying amount of these vaults. However, if you look at the site, you can actually see the number of tombs by looking for this icon. Similar to a Wi-Fi icon, it will fill up more when there are more Forgotten Vaults present, up to a maximum of 3 vaults. So prioritising lower difficulty maps with more vaults will let you run them faster and safer with a higher resource yield. Tip 3 is to utilise the Challenger base rotation. Another good source of synthite and parts is to clear your base rotation shown at the bottom of the raid screen, which will always give you 125 parts and 125 synthite, as long as you make sure you're clearing the champion outposts when they become available. As this is irregardless of difficulty, you can run normals on repeat, and it's actually a relatively quick way to build up your resources if you're a less skilled raider. Tip number 4 is passive farming. Outside of raiding, Meet Your Maker has a passive farm system. Whilst an outpost is active, any kills that you get in your outpost will drop synthite and parts at the location a raider has died. Boosts do impact this, so consider activating boosts if you've got a long enough duration on them as you go offline to ensure that you're getting more resources whilst you're passively not playing. The more deadly your outpost, the more resources you will likely be able to farm, so creating a deadly outpost will gather a lot of resources. It's also worth noting, for the sake of efficiency, that you don't actually need to go around your outpost and collect the resource boxes. If you load into your outpost and then immediately exit back into Sanctuary, it will automatically place the resources in your inventory and increase the value of your currency totals. And finally, a tip for all 3 resources. Every NPC in Sanctuary has a tab in their menu that offers a boost which increases resource rates for a set amount of time. You can activate Elpida to increase the gem mat gain, thus resulting in more cells. Proxima will increase your synthite gain, and Krona will increase your parts gain. Making sure the appropriate boost is active will increase your resource yield and let you farm them more effectively. I especially recommend Elpida's gem mat boost when playing in co-op for some hefty and easy resource gathering, as in co-op, taking on brutal bases becomes much easier, so you can use this to farm brutal bases en masse for huge boosts in level, and coincidentally, a huge boost in all 3 currencies. And that is it for today's guide. As always, I hope you have found it useful, and if you have a social outpost that you would like for me to run through for my upcoming community outpost video, then please make sure to drop it into the comments. I would also, just before I finish, like to give a quick shout out to Underrealmed Gaming. As some of you may know, I stream over on twitch.tv/Wildosis as part of the gaming group Underrealmed Gaming, of which I'm one of the founders. If you want to get involved in our community, then make sure to join our Discord where we talk gaming, music, anime, memes and more. You can find the Discord link down in the comments, so make sure to drop by and say hi. And until next time, I'll see you in the Wastelands.